person. Data centers offer a transformative opportunity for our city. They bring high investment. They bring great pay in tech jobs. And they bring stronger tax base with minimal environmental impact. These facilities don't create traffic or pollution, and they often become long-term community partners. There's been a lot of false information that is circulated, especially on social media regarding the data centers. It's outdated information. I want you to think about your telephones. I want you to think about your iPads, your whatever you utilize for your net opportunities, and look at how much they've advanced over the last several years. Look at how much an iPhone has changed. Look at how much now iPhone is using artificial intelligence in many, many aspects of the information you get when you Google something.
The second part of that question is how can the city verify that these projects bring long-term value, such as jobs, infrastructure improvements, environmental protections, and community investment?
Well, I think that the city has to look at this in a very thoughtful and careful manner. I support limiting data centers to appropriate industrial zones. I support ensuring compliance with existing building and utility codes and requiring investments through local partnerships, job training programs, and all environmental safeguards. If we do it right, we get Georgia Power, we get this new reverse osmosis water treatment facility online. This could be a big win-win for the city of Raleigh.
Thank you, Mr. Quick. Ms. Gaten? I'll read the question because we are splitting it into two. So the first part of the question is, data centers are currently a major discussion point in Rome. What is your position on how and where these projects should be developed, and what safeguards or benefits should the city require before approval?
Data centers are important to our economy today and will grow in importance as data storage and power of AI becomes more critical to households, government, and businesses. They should develop in the right fit areas, zoned for heavy industrial that are designed to support industrial facilities, in areas where the noise pollution from cooling systems in large buildings do not negatively affect the quality of life of communities, in areas where this infrastructure will support adequate water and power supply, where the community has the opportunity to receive economic value and will not receive rate hikes, and adequate security measures are in place. These safeguards should be prioritized when conveyed with data centers developers before approval.
Second part of the question is, how can Rome verify that these projects bring long-term value, such as jobs, infrastructure improvements, environmental protections, and community investment?
Data centers generate numerous jobs during construction and operation, including IT, engineering, and maintenance. They drive significant infrastructure development, such as new roads, power grids, water systems to support the facilities. And they're growing needs. Data centers broaden economic growth, attract other technology companies, create regional tech hubs, and provide substantial tax revenue for local communities. Data centers adapt renewable energy sources, improve energy and water efficiency for advanced cooling systems. However, having these conversations up front with development authorities, stakeholders, and community will allow each opportunity to suggest additional protocols to be put in place before the construction takes place.
Mr. Hickson, repeat the first part of the question. Data centers are currently a major discussion point in Rome. What is your position on how and where these projects should be developed, and what safeguards or benefits should the city require before approval?
Well, as we see data centers are here, I think one of the things that we didn't do is check with the community. We didn't check with the community. We didn't see how the community felt. We did not give them an opportunity to have any input. Whether it benefits the city or not, That's one thing that could have been discussed. I went to the data center forum, and there were a bunch of legitimate questions that were asked, but none of them could have been answered. One thing we could have done is we can always check the history of the data center. We can research it, we can see how much money that they're bringing in, but we still want to check with the people. I think that's one of the reasons why the people are upset. They're estimated to bring $50 million tax revenue. That will help offset our problem. One of the things that we can do to help position is check what the ULDC told us to see if there's a good fit in that neighborhood, whether it's the buffer, we can check with the plan in the zone to make sure that they have all the requirements that fit in that particular neighborhood. One thing about data centers, they require water and they require electricity, which makes Rome attractive for most data centers. It's the home of three rivers. So one thing I would have done is check with the community to make sure that it's a good fit. And actually facilitate any questions that's there. They aren't new, so they're not a lot of information known about it. Yes, sir.
It's saying part of that question is how can Rome verify that these projects bring long-term value such as jobs, infrastructure improvements, environmental protections, and community investment?
And that's one of the things that you invite the community to the table for. You assure these things. There are not a lot of jobs that are going to be output by these data centers. One thing that we could have done was ensure that our students that are coming out of schools, our technical kids that are coming out of GNTC, have first opportunity to apply for these particular jobs, that they are trained through the CCA. That's one way we can ensure that they will steadily benefit our city. And of course, that they do end up generating the money, the tax revenue that they're going to have their contractual wages, and we can make sure that that money flows back into the neighborhood. Floyd County Schools is getting an additional $30 million in tax revenue from the plant that's coming in Coosa. There has been nothing stated about the one that's coming into the city of Rome. And one thing you could have did was get that negotiated upfront contraction.
Ms. Fisher. Repeat the first part of the question. Data centers are currently a major discussion point in Rome. What is your position on how and where these projects should be developed, and what safeguards or benefits should the city require before approval?
The Rome Floyd County Development Authority owned that property at the Batty Business Park, and they have the authority to enter into a contract for the data center, and they have the zoning that they needed for that. And I do agree with Vic Hickson that I was at Thursday's forum, and the community wasn't considered their input. I do see the frustration there. I do see why the Development Authority entered into a contract. We have a 19-month due diligence period for this. The potential tax revenue for this could really benefit our community. Our current tax digest is a little under $2 billion, and this data center could match that, double it, even quadruple it. And so that would definitely relieve the burden from our property owners. So I definitely see the appealing part of that. I know that we can do some things. In the meantime, we can control how it affects neighboring communities by putting in ordinances to control noise pollution, light pollution, landscaping, how far it's set back. So there's still some things that we can do with community input for that data center.
Second half of that question is how can the city verify that these projects bring long-term value such as jobs, infrastructure improvements, environmental protections, and community investment?
One big concern is the water that they use. The number was thrown out, 200 million gallon per year for one data center. Rome, our water we can do, we're permitted up to 18 million gallons per day. We typically use 10 million gallons per day. And if you look at 200 million gallons per year, that's about 0.5 million gallons per day. So I can see why the city feels comfortable in the water that they can supply the center and the ones up and coming in Floyd County. I don't support I think we have maybe 4 that we're talking about total for Floyd County. I definitely wouldn't want to support more than that. But I do know that water demands can be met, and I know that Georgia Power is responsible for negotiating their power. It's going to take them a few years to even come up with a design to tell them the power they'll have available. And based on that, they'll design their data center, and that probably won't even be done until 2030. So I know there is time to put in some controls to protect the surrounding neighborhoods that will be near this data center. And I think that we can look to surrounding communities to see how they've been impacted by data centers. And the visit to Douglas County has been very helpful to understand that. And I definitely see the benefits from it, but it's important to consider the surrounding people that live near and around them.
If we're going to talk about them this much, I think the city needs to pass an ordinance on whether or not it's pronounced data. Keep that. We need to determine that. Now this becomes a problem. Let's maybe you answer this next question first. Parks and Recreation plays a significant role in what makes the city livable. Where do you stand on the current